Making mistakes is a part of life, but most of these innocent, inevitable life mistakes usually don't cost you thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. When buyers decide to go at it alone or with an inexperienced real estate agent, mistakes are almost certain to happen. Some of these mistakes are minor, but others can be extremely costly, not just financially, but emotionally and physically draining. Buying a home is stressful enough, you don't need to be adding mistakes to the mix. So what are these costly mistakes that home buyers make and that need to be avoided? Here are the 9 biggest home buying mistakes to avoid. Number 1, not checking your credit. One major mistake first-time home buyers make is not pulling their credit report prior to starting the home buying process. Unless you're paying all cash for your new home, you need to make sure your credit score is the best that it can be when you start the home buying process. If you plan on obtaining a loan, your credit score will play a big role in what loan programs you can qualify for. A mortgage lender is going to scrutinize a prospective buyer's credit report when determining if they are approved for a loan. If so, what loan program, for how much, and what the interest rate will be. Nowadays, you can track your credit summary, report, and score using many different sources. One of my favorites is Experian.com. Using their paid membership, you can also dispute any discrepancies using their boost function, and you can compare your score across the 3 different credit bureaus. Depending on a few different factors, a higher score will save you tens of thousands over the course of a 15 or 30-year loan. Number 2, not having financing or funds in order. Speaking of loans and doing your credit due diligence, it's not uncommon for buyers to want to look at homes and then get pre-approved for a mortgage or move their money around to pay cash. The mortgage pre-approval or proof of funds should come before looking at homes for several reasons. Just because a buyer can afford the monthly mortgage payments doesn't mean they will be approved for a mortgage. And just because a buyer gets approved for $1 million doesn't mean they can afford to spend $1 million on a home. In order to submit an offer, a buyer will need to know the terms of their financing, what type of loan, how much they'll be financing, the interest rate, terms of financing, and how long their lender will take to provide loan commitment. Sellers want to know that they have a ready, willing, and able buyer looking at their home, not a looky-loo. A lot of sellers jump through hoops to prepare their home for a showing, and if they are selling with kids or pets, it's even much more of a challenge. A good listing agent will inform a seller an offer without proof of funds or a mortgage pre-approval is about as good as nothing. In a seller's market especially, you want to have your ducks in a row when presenting an offer. The next mistake to avoid, only speaking with one lender. Your lender should be able to go over financing options and financial obligations that come with it. Both parties need to be able to answer questions on the phone or in person. Whether a buyer goes directly to the bank or mortgage broker, they should contact at least one other lender or broker. By doing so, they'll be able to compare their financing options, interest rate, and closing costs. Not all lenders charge the same amount. In fact, some lenders may charge thousands of dollars more than their local competition. There are questions buyers should ask every lender to ensure they are comparing lenders apples to apples. While one may have a lower interest rate, they may have outrageous lending fees, in the end costing them more. Next mistake, randomly selecting a realtor. Purchasing a home is not the same as purchasing a new dress or even a new car. Buying a home is a huge financial commitment, a commitment that most people undertake over 30 years. You need to have an experienced professional guiding you through the process, explaining the home buying process and answering any questions until they're fully understood from start to finish. This is especially important if it's a first-time home buying situation. But even if a buyer previously purchased a home, real estate is constantly changing and you will still need a great team on your side. Your real estate agent should be able to educate you about the area, market conditions, and of course, explanations of the terms of an offer. Using the first realtor who answers your phone or recommended by a friend is a huge home buying mistake. Buyers need to work with professionals at the top of their game who will look out for their best interest. For example, you made it to my website where I educate, inform, and guide you through different topics in real estate. You're in good hands here. Next home buying mistake, having unrealistic expectations. Have you ever heard of the phrase champagne taste on a beer budget? This too is one of the many home buying mistakes that a lot of home buyers make. After all, a buyer will be spending a lot of money and wants the perfect house. Well, unless you're purchasing land or building your dream home, you probably won't find the perfect home. This is another reason why you need to have your finances in order first. Checking out open houses priced well above what you qualify for is setting yourself up for disappointment and unneeded frustration. Setting realistic expectations is a good key to finding a house that meets your main wants and needs. Next home buying mistake: avoid spending large amounts of money when buying a home. Many home buyers are tempted to start shopping for their new home before they even close on it. This is a huge mistake. Money makes the world go round, and spending it can easily blow up a buyer's financing. Once a buyer applies for a mortgage and gets pre-approved, they need to take a step back and freeze. They shouldn't change jobs, open up new credit cards, deposit large sums of money into their bank account, switch banks, or charge up their credit cards. Those are big no-nos. While it may seem harmless to buy furniture the day before closing, it can easily turn a approved mortgage into a rejected one, believe it or not, hours before closing. Lenders will make sure that nothing has significantly changed on your financing or credit report, so that $3,000 furniture purchase could destroy your home buying dreams. The next home buying mistake is draining your savings. Using all of your money for a down payment and closing costs is one of the biggest home buyer mistakes. A buyer should never drain their savings in order to purchase a home. Life happens, things break, jobs are lost, a list of unexpected, costly events and repairs can pop up at any moment. In addition to the down payment and closing costs, buyers should have at least 3 to 6 months of expenses set aside. They should never live above their means or count on getting that huge promotion. Next home buying mistake: not budgeting for repairs or renovations. This kind of piggybacks on what I just said. Rarely will you buy a home that doesn't need some work or repairs, and 99% of the time you'll want to remodel or renovate something to match your taste. These changes, even though we're in a DIY world, can be costly, and even if you do budget, it's usually more than what you think. Whether a home needs to be painted or a bathroom needs to be completely gutted, you need to gather your numbers first. Guessing what it will cost to paint a home or replace a kitchen is not a good idea. Guessing leads to stressing. Even if buyers plan on doing the work themselves, they'll still need to gather costs on supplies and include a buffer for unforeseen expenses. Once you start taking down walls, you never know what's behind there. When it comes to getting estimates, buyers should obtain estimates from multiple contractors, then work off the average, not the lowest estimate received. Once again, unforeseen problems can pop up, adding to the cost. The renovation or repair process isn't cheap, easy, or fast as you see on most home improvement TV shows. It can be a costly process with a lot of hidden expenses. Therefore, buyers need to do their own homework and create a budget. Develop a plan, budget, extra budget, and try to stick to the plan to avoid making costly mistakes. And the last mistake is underestimating the cost of homeownership. Hidden expenses and homeownership can go hand in hand. Just 3 weeks ago, my parents discovered a cracked pipe underneath one of their bedrooms in a home built in 2003. The cost to repair, a cool $18,000 in a home they've only lived in for 4 years. There are a lot of expenses that come with owning a home besides just the mortgage payment. There are property taxes, homeowners insurance, utilities, HOA fees, maintenance fees, landscaping, repair costs. Murphy's Law often happens after closing on a new home. The water heater was working perfectly fine. 3 weeks after closing, cha-ching, $3,000 out the window. This is why it's important for buyers to factor the age of the roof, the AC, water heater, electrical, plumbing, and appliances when buying a home and plan accordingly. I always recommend my buyers purchase a home warranty and, of course, get inspections. If the roof is at the end of its life, buyers should obtain estimates before moving forward with the purchase. A new roof can easily cost $30,000. Is this an expense a new homeowner can afford? Many cannot. If not, you should choose to find homes with newer roofs. Most home buyer mistakes can be avoided. Just like mistakes in life, the best way to avoid them is to educate yourself. When buying a home, the best way to avoid costly mistakes is working with a top realtor. They will help you guide you through the entire process from start to finish. And this is why buyers shouldn't select a random realtor or lender to work with. They need an advisor, someone who can explain things, provide options, and make recommendations. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more tips.